What's going on, guys? Jacob Borth back here with another video of Jacob's Life in Vegas, coming to you guys today with another 5 Fact Friday, right? With 5 things you didn't know about a certain subject here in Las Vegas. I'm coming to you guys from Siegfried and Roy Park, right here near McCarran International Airport, which is what we're going to be talking about today. I'll show you guys where I'm at. It's a pretty cool park here, right by the airport. So, pretty quiet here on a weekday morning. In a older neighborhood here by UNLV, right off of Maryland Parkway, right off of Maryland, and Russell is where I'm at. So we're gonna jump into this today, talking about 5 things you didn't know about McCarran International Airport right here. Actually, it's behind me too, but you just can't really see it, but you can see the Mandalay Bay there in the distance. Before I jump into it though, shout out to Felicia, who got the Trivia Tuesday question right. She got it right and she got the most upvotes. Remember guys, if you want to get your name shouted out, you got to play Trivia Tuesday, which means you have to subscribe to the channel, but you also have to hit the bell and hit the notification for all. That's the only way you're going to get to see those notifications when I make those text posts on YouTube. If you don't hit the bell and you don't hit all, then YouTube just shows you videos or content of mine whenever YouTube feels like it. So that's how YouTube rolls. But today we're going to jump into this and talk about 5 things that you probably didn't know about McCarran International Airport. And the first one I'll say, this is one a lot of the tourists probably don't realize, but a lot of locals who are in, who do film or do photography, that kind of thing, there is a cool viewing area. It's actually on the other side of the airport from where I am here. I'll put an image here on the screen so you guys can see where it is on the map over on Sunset. But it's a really cool spot. Sometimes you'll see news crews go out there and they'll report from that area. It's called the McCarran International Airport Aircraft Viewing Area, and actually has ratings on Google. People give it a star rating and that kind of thing. It's a really cool spot to go and take photos and take videos and see the planes taking off and things like that. If you guys ever want to see that kind of thing while you're here in Las Vegas, you can go over there and get some really cool shots of, one of the busiest airports in America and see planes coming in and out and see how it operates. So now we'll hop into some of the numbers about McCarran International Airport that some of you, especially if you're a data junkie, a little bit of a numbers geek like I am, you might find this kind of interesting. I'll say the second thing you didn't know about McCarran International Airport in 2019, take a quick guess how many people came through this airport in 2019. All right, we know Vegas has a little over 40 million visitors in a typical year. 2020 has been a little different. But last year in 2019, they had just over 51,337,000 people enplaned and deplaned here at McCarran International Airport. The biggest month in 2019 was actually in October. 4.6 million people in October alone. So just over 51 million for the year. 4.6 million alone came through this airport that were enplaned and deplaned last year in 2019. The third thing you didn't know about Las Vegas and McCarran International Airport is when you look at the airlines who bring in the most people here, the highest volume of people here at McCarran International Airport, some of you could probably take a guess at which one it is. It's definitely a domestic airline, not a not one that's international, because most of our tourists who come here come from within the U.S. But something you might find interesting. Lots of airlines bring people here, of course, a big tourist destination city, but the one who brings the most people, and not just the most people by a little bit, but the most people by far, is Southwest Airlines. Which when I first saw this, wasn't a huge shock, because when I did the poll about a year ago, remember I did the video actually right here where I was standing about the most popular airlines for flying to Las Vegas, Southwest was by far the #1 choice that people had chosen. It was, far and away the one that most people said that they take when they come to Las Vegas, they like to travel with. And those numbers show. When you literally look at the numbers, and I'll put links down below, you guys can actually see these numbers, the official recorded numbers for McCarran International Airport here. But Southwest Airlines in 2019 alone transported over 17 million people. Over 17 million on Southwest. The next closest, the second closest airline to Southwest with just over 5 million people was Spirit Airlines. I know some of you take Spirit to Vegas. I know some of you despise Spirit Airlines, but Southwest was #1 just in terms of overall volume, and Spirit was the second most at #2. Then after that, it drops off. I think 1 or 2 had 4 million people. Then you have some 3 million plus, 2 million plus, that kind of thing. But far and away, Southwest Airlines, the #1 airline who transports the most people in and out of Las Vegas. The Fourth thing you didn't know about McCarran International Airport here in Las Vegas is which airline brings us the most international tourists. This is one that those of you who live abroad may know this, especially who live up north in Canada. So it's actually a Canadian airline, and there's the ones who bring us the most people. Not Air Canada, but this other airline called Air Canada Rouge, which I'd never even heard of until I was looking at this. I'd never heard of Air Canada Rouge before, but apparently from a little I know and what I've researched, it's like the Walmart of airlines. It's like, you know, considered to be the crappier airline of the two. Air Canada, I guess, is supposed to be pretty nice, and Air Canada Rouge is like the bargain option, the lowest price kind of thing. That's what it sounds like, but they, by a pretty good measure, bring 429,000 people. They enplaned 429,000 people to Las Vegas in 2019. The second one actually is not as far behind as some of these others, like for the domestic, but was WestJet. WestJet actually brings 411,000 people. That's what they did in 2019. They enplaned 411,000. Number one from our neighbors to the north, Canada, Air Canada Rouge. So some of you Canadians, tell me about this Air Canada Rouge and if it's supposed to be this cheap option, if it's that bad or whatever, because whatever they're doing, they're the ones who enplaned the most people here to Las Vegas in 2019. So Canadians, help me out in the comments section. The fifth and final thing you didn't know about McCarran International Airport, well, I might throw in a little bonus at the end of this, but the fifth thing about McCarran International Airport that you might find interesting is actually when it comes to revenue for car rental companies and who makes the most money. Who made the most money in 2019 is what I should say, because these figures are definitely going to be different for 2020. So you might think that a company who made the most, right, or like, you know, Hertz or Enterprise or something like that in 2019, some of the biggest car companies, well, Hertz is not going to be making the most money in 2020. We know that much. But actually the number one, and by a good measure, car rental company that made the most money in terms of revenue was Alamo. Alamo made about $63.5 million in 2019 is what they made. That's a huge chunk of change. They were number one here at this airport at McCarran International Airport in Las Vegas. Number two was Hertz. Hertz came in about $56 million they made in revenue in 2019. And Hertz and Enterprise are both also at the Henderson Airport, the North Las Vegas Airport. But even what those two made there combined still doesn't equal, you know, each of them, if they add all three of Hertz and Enterprise, if they add all three of their airports together, still doesn't equal what Alamo made here, what Alamo made here at McCarran in 2019. So Alamo was the number one car rental company in terms of revenue in 2019 here in Las Vegas, which is interesting because with Uber, with Lyft, you know, being so prominent now and things like that, you may have less people renting cars, people using Turo to rent cars and that kind of thing, but Alamo was the number one by a good $7 million or whatever the case is in terms of revenue. They were ahead of everyone else in terms of car rental revenue here at McCarran. And the bonus that I'll throw you guys here in this video, and if you've been here for Vegas, been coming for years to Las Vegas, you're gonna know this. But if you've never been here before, maybe you've only been here a couple times, you never thought about this, McCarran International Airport, we do not have a Terminal 2. We have a Terminal 1, and we have a Terminal 3. Terminal 3 was actually built, actually it was this month, it was finished about 8 years ago, Terminal 3 was, and then Terminal 2 was eventually demolished years ago. So we have not had a Terminal 2 in, well, I guess officially 8 years or something like that. So when you come here, you have Terminal 1 and Terminal 3. When I did my videos walking through both of those over at the airport, people were like, is there a Terminal 2? Like, is there something I'm missing? Why does it go from 1 to 3? It's like, no, it's designed like that. That's how it is. There's Terminal 1 and Terminal 3 here at the airport. There is no Terminal 2. That went bye-bye a few years ago. So thanks for checking out this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned a little something here about Las Vegas, learned a little something about McCarran International Airport. Please subscribe if you haven't done so yet, because you want to get in on this, get your name shouted out for Trivia Tuesday. There's another question coming on Tuesday. I've already got it set up and all that stuff. So subscribe, hit the bell, and hit all for notifications. You can guess the trivia question, test your Vegas knowledge, and get your name shouted out here on the channel. That's it for this video. I am Jacob. Check out last week's 5 Fact Friday if you didn't get a chance to right over there. This is my life in Vegas.